It's the end of the day with Ray. Hello, my friends. I saw on LinkedIn the other day a lot of complaints talking about Evergreen leases. Folks, it's been kind of going on over the last couple of months. Right now there's more leases in Evergreen in the history of our industry. And a lot of folks are trying to take this Evergreen scenario and they're trying to paint it as some really bad deal for customers. And the dealers that are participating in this are devils. And in all reality, I laugh my ass off when I hear that because these same people are out there doing what? Fair market value leases. An Evergreen situation is a component of a fair market value lease, cut and dry, period. If these dealers and sales reps are so outraged about Evergreen scenarios that every lease they write with an end user should be a dollar buyout, give the end user an amortization schedule, and then send that amortization schedule to all the competitors so anytime anybody wants to upgrade that customer, it's really easy and simple for them. Is that not what you're advocating? See, it's only good if it keeps the competitors out of your accounts. But when you're trying to take a competitor's account, it's a terrible thing and they're the devil. Ladies and gentlemen, it's beyond absurdity. The bottom line is the reason that there's Evergreen leases right now is because our industry as a whole has always promoted fair market value leases over dollar buyout. And the reason they do that is simple. There's more money in a fair market value lease for the dealership and for the sales rep. I'm going to do some simple math for you to make it simple. Our industry, they sell based on a payment. If the customer says, I'll pay you $200 a month, and the rep writes up a lease. If he writes up the lease for $200 a month and it's a dollar buyout lease, the rep's getting 10 grand from the leasing company. If the rep uses that $200 a month and writes up a fair market value lease, the rep's getting $11,025 from the leasing company. If the sales rep's getting 40% of the gross profit, they just made an extra $400 by putting the customer on a fair market value lease over a dollar buyout lease. It's simple math, ladies and gentlemen. It's not a crisis. These people aren't the devil. It's just the way our industry works. If you're so concerned about people being an evergreen, then you better make sure that every one of your leases is a buck out. Give the customer an amortization schedule and then send it to all your competitors. No one's going to do that. So we all know this is pure nonsensical noise. But here's the problem with our industry, folks. We create our own problems. These customers aren't upset that they're in Evergreen. They probably don't even know it. But because a sales rep has to sell a machine today, we're going into these customers and we're stirring up all kinds of problems. Because the only way we can bring value to a commodity is to create this arbitrary problem to the customer. Because our dealership never diversified. We don't have anything else we could sell. We can only overspec and oversell A3. Some of these dealerships, the only thing they can sell is used A3s. In order for us to do that, we got to get the customer out of the lease. So we don't like Evergreen leases. It's pure insanity. The real crisis is that the dealerships out there aren't diversified enough. The real crisis is that salespeople don't have other things they can sell. The real crisis is that dealerships haven't figured out how to pay their reps if these leases stay in Evergreen, maybe. Folks, the bottom line is this, and I talked about this a while back. We're creating these false problems. We're creating false demand. We're doing so many things that are so dysfunctional, which proves that our industry is in a terrible disruption. We have dealers out there with boatloads of leases that have already been funded. The equipment's not even being delivered. I saw on social media the other day where somebody was advertising, we're going to save you 30% on your print. I read that advertisement. I started laughing my ass off. I'm thinking to myself, everyone in that dealer's community has to be thinking to themselves, man, I wish that dealership owned the car dealership here. Then we wouldn't have to pay 40% over list price for new and 30% more for used than we were doing just a few short years ago. Man, I wish these copier dealers owned the automobile dealerships in our towns. Folks, we look stupid and silly to end users. We don't even have any toner or equipment and we're having sales. We're criticizing each other in the marketplace and we're all doing exactly the same thing in that marketplace. There's only two types of leases for the most part. I know you can get creative with rentals and stuff, but for the most part, we're doing buck out or we're doing fair market value. If you want it to be simple to the customer, do a dollar buyout. If you think you're a tax expert, explain to the customer the benefits of a dollar buyout, and I assure you they wouldn't give a shit about the tax part of it. Or, better yet, start diversifying your dealership so you can offer more than a commodity of print. And then you can include that commodity of print in your overall deliverable. Some things to think about, my friends, because we all know this: status quo is the killer of all that'll be invented. Don't get stuck in status quo, and I'll see you all on Monday.